Wow. So I pretty much solved the whole reason around the VACCINESs. Yeah, they were the fertility. They are the fertility, and fertility is actually deadly right now, especially during climate change. So, see, nothing is poison. That's where you have to learn how to characterize things. Nothing is poison, but fertility is deadly. And how many mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers, how many mothers are out there wanting to have 1 billion children? And so if you already believe in large families and a slew of children, then you shouldn't have an issue with the VACCINESs, because all they are is fertility. They cause immune system activation, and they also cause offspring, antibodies, that are a type of programming, then develop sexual reproduction, and sometimes they develop viruses. And then you have to get another immunization to control that virus until it becomes out of control. And then you have so many different viruses controlling other viruses, then you have a huge population boom. And so when I finally figured out how to say this and characterize it, and even Facebook is like, okay, you need to chill out on your postings. I've posted so much, and they're like, oh my God, we got to slow her down, so I can't post anymore. But I could do a Facebook Live. And so I'm like, okay, I'll do a Facebook Live, and then I can't post anything until tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the morning. So 12-hour, which is fine. I don't care. So, so the VACCINESs were the reason for the population explosion. So I've studied the immunization history, and I even took it all the way back to like China back in whatever BC. And yeah, the emperors used the different, mucus from people's noses and dried it up and put it like in a medicine thing and dried it up and had people inhale it. And then they would get an immune system activation. And of course, you get children. Fertility, you get children. You get large, you nation build with VACCINESs. It's aggressive fertility. They are the fertility. But whenever you grow any company or person too fast, they will die. Now look at all these children maturing so fast and getting PhDs at 15 years old. Babies walking at 2 months old. Girls who are 15 and 16 look like they're 40 and 50. I can't even tell how old these girls are nowadays. Not only is the environment accelerating their maturity, but their family is making sure they get trapped in sexuality and social capital. And so when I was looking at the population numbers from, let's say 1500, right? Or from 900 AD, and you saw that it was just growing just a slight bit, right? World population, 240,000, 275,000, 320, 360. It's not a lot of population boom. 350, 450. Now something's going on between 350 and 450. Why is it rising? Well, something's going on. Maybe wars, who knows? You can go Google the history of what's going on around 1400, 1500. And then you have, 500,000, 610,000, 707. Now we're getting into some major numbers here. 1760, 1800, 1 million, and then another 1,200,000, and then 1,600,000, 2 million, and then 2,543 in the 1950s, and then it keeps steadily climbing up. Was it 2 billion? I'm sorry, not 2 million. 2 billion, 1 million, 1 billion, oh, Jesus Christ. 770 million, 610,000. Wait, hold on. 610 million. Jesus Christ. I can't even freaking read this. Let me do this again. 240 million, 200 million, 275 million, 320 million, 360 million, 350 million, 450 million, 500 million, 610 million, 770 million, and then 1 billion in 1804. 1 billion, this is the world's population. And then 1 billion 200 million, 1 billion 600 million, 2 billion, 2 billion 543 million. So the population just went like double, triple, 1951. 2,543,000,000. Holy crap. Yeah, I gotta learn how to read these numbers. But you see where I'm going here. The boomers, right? The boomers. That was from all the VACCINESs. All right? Wow. I'll tell you, man, reading about population, it's like you really have to be very correct with these numbers. I learn how to read these damn numbers. God. And I still get, sometimes I get confused with the stupid zeros, but that's okay. I have to correct myself. And so, it's been hot. I was hot the last couple of days. And so, so when the girls and boys mature so fast, they have a very short life, and that's exactly what's going on because parents can't change and they have to keep up with everybody else, as well as repeat the tradition of their own parents. And so if you don't get the VACCINE, then you get all the sexuality, which then causes people to get immunized by the community, by their partners, or by their myriads of sexual partners. Early sex as well as sharing drinks and then sharing space in a highly accelerated environment. And then when you have too much infection, you get another VACCINE to control it, which is basically, that was the whole point of it, is that if they knew there was some kind of new infection lurking in the population, you get a V. The V would then annihilate what potentially could be, but they would still have an offspring. It wouldn't because it's just like no different than when you go and have sex with someone. You're annihilating now your genetic line. You're diluting it, and then you're also splitting your affections, and you're developing something else to take your place. The implication of fertility is to annihilate the prior generation. That's the whole thing with fertility. So that's the thing, is when you get a VACCINE, the whole point was for them is there's two sides of it. There's the protection to annihilate and keep it under control. Well, yeah, when you have people having sex, you keep them under control. And you have people out there gallivanting until they can't be under control. And so, oh God, this is just crazy. I'm just like, wow. That was the whole, yeah. And so what is also very evident is how weak these children are today, because they have been procreated on aggressive levels since the 1700s, and they kept getting highly V'd and had natural remedies used on them on a continuous basis because of intolerance to symptoms. And so it was the Middle Ages. And I'm not going to read all this. I'm just going to leave this, but I'm just going to go through real quick because I'm just like, I did that work, and I'm just going to take a break for a minute. I know it's only 6:30 a.m. But, so you see the diet suddenly is because of all the fertility, too much fertility. Okay? And so, give me 1 second. I'm just going to go here. My arms are a little bit sore. So you had that post, and you are the host to both antigen and antibody in your body, and you will either allow the excessive antigens and antibodies to destroy you, or you release the excess so you won't fall apart. Okay? And so if 1796 was the first time the smallpox VACCINE was administered, and then you eradicate the actual virus smallpox, you're getting an offshoot called another version of it. That's the offspring, and then a child, a generation of children. And so that was how the system can keep procreating. You develop so you hear, there's a new virus. Let's go and inject everybody with aspects of it. And then you get women having babies from that. Okay? But climate change and particle acceleration will cause the fertility to be so excessive that it doesn't have time to become sexual reproduction. It just turns into cancer. And then you have so many of the antigen antibody programming, and it stays in the body because it's stuck in the body from all the remedies and everything else, then you get sexual orientation. And that's why I wrote my book, is that when people stop up their system, they have a closed immune system. All those diversity is procreating with each other, causing the person to be highly sexualized, and then also have sexual orientation. And then that's where you get the diversity and the new viruses too. Okay? And so that was the whole integers. Negative times a negative. So Antigen, antibody, you can say they're negative or positive. They're interchangeable. Negative times a negative is a positive. Positive times a positive is a positive. Negative times a positive is a negative because that's always entropy. But whenever you allow excessive growth of antigen and antibody, and then you call that infection when they both commune together, developing offspring, people can't get ahead of their fertility in their body. They can't. That's why they have turbo cancer. Because they have a closed immune system, there's too much fertility, and then you have people who are either morbidly obese or completely emaciated, or they get turbo cancers. And then the diet suddenly is the only way to humanely put somebody down so they're not suffering. So yeah, I had to come to terms yesterday with my dog stuff. Yeah, she suffered. So did I. We all suffered. But if she hadn't had those surgeries from prior, could she have turned herself around? I speculate, but she was too damaged from the veterinary industry. But believe me, if I knew what I knew now then, I probably would have put her down a long time ago. But then you learn things, right, as they come up. And you never get into those situations again. But yeah, the fertility, the diet suddenly, is the only humane way to put people down without blood on your hands. Diet suddenly is a gift. If you can understand that, because you can't force feed somebody food that they're not going to eat. You can't make them sit and suffer in pain and suffering, because I'll tell you, what I experienced the last couple weeks, and what I've been listening to on Facebook, people are fucking suffering. Diet suddenly is going to be their only relief. They're looking for the latest cure. There's nothing out there. Because the climate is so aggressive and it's changing so much. There's going to be no relief for these people, but they're hopeful. They don't want to hurt, they don't want to destroy themselves, literally. So the only thing the system can do is change the environment and cause an immune system activation they can't get ahead of. And that's the most humane way. And those who can handle pain and suffering will deal with whatever and survive it. And those who can't, eventually, they'll treat themselves out of existence or they'll die suddenly. And that is the most humane way. You can't get mad at that. Okay? And so, there's nothing for you to do. You stay out of people's health issues. You stay out of people's health issues. Because what the issue is that we have defective, what is it called? Defective procreation is what destroying future generations. People are procreating so much. That's why you have all the different intellectual issues, handicaps, and all the neurological issues. It's too much procreation on bodies in deficit who can't handle air, food, and water. And yeah, you can say everything is a factor. People want to blame the V's. Well, everything's a factor. You can't make just one thing, at fault. It's basically a compilation of aggressive fertility and the intention of families and friends to have a bunch of children. And the kids suffer for it. Okay, so you have to be the strongest person to be intellectually capable and evolutionary. And support that evolution with air, food, and water, and without discrimination. And stay home and stay safe. And so, yeah, death and die suddenly is the ultimate cure for cancer and disease and chronic illness and suffering and viruses. And so, I won't ever have a dog again. I tried to save her. I tried to save humanity. But you can't save things that don't have the capacity to save themselves. And you're not allowed to let them suffer. So again, die suddenly is the most humane way. And so I'm just going to, my arm is really sore right now. So I'm just going to chill out right now. But now you have the information. The VACCINESs were the fertility. And this was planned as far as fertility and the VACCINESs way back in the Middle Ages. We're still in the Middle Ages. We're in the new world now. Good luck. I hope you survive your politics, your religion, and your science. But aggressive fertility is what is deadly. And you already accepted death. Remember, people are like, oh, you should die someday. Well, the system will accelerate what you intended anyways. And they already warned you, climate change is here, climate change is happening. People are like, no, we can stop it. How's that going for you? Bye. Come on.